Welcome to another bonus edition of Chesterfield Behind the Mic. I am Brad Franklin, creative content writer here in Chesterfield, and I am joined today by Jason Koubi, who is the Interim CEO of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, which is a mouthful to say. I'm really glad to have you on the show and to talk a little bit about the ways that communities collaborate with various partners to get projects off the ground and that kind of thing. First off, Jason, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm great. It's great to be with you today, Brad. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I want to start kind of in a general place, which is I'm not sure how someone gets involved in the kind of work you do, but I'm curious to hear how it was that you came to do what you do and kind of to explain to folks kind of what it is that your department, your group does in terms of helping localities in these sorts of endeavors.
Yeah, it's a great question. People get into economic development for all sorts of ways. In my case, I studied engineering in college. And
okay.
So I love to solve problems. I love, kind of digging in and working with other people to figure out, just how we can kind of improve. And that really got me interested in sort of this concept of economic development, because economic development is fundamentally, you're solving problems. You're taking a community that aspires to develop in a certain way, to attract high quality jobs, to attract investment, and also you're dealing with businesses that are looking for a place to locate and grow and expand. And ultimately, it comes down to really figuring out how can you design a solution that really meets the needs of everyone. And so it's a highly collaborative field where in my role at the state level, I'm working every day with partners like those in Chesterfield County, folks at the regional level, Greater Richmond Partnership in this sort of metro area, other state partners to advance Virginia's economic development. To do that by helping new businesses locate in Virginia, but also helping those that are already here grow and expand. Do that in a way that creates economic opportunity, that creates new tax revenues for localities like Chesterfield, and that ultimately helps both businesses and individual citizens succeed in the economy.
Now, in terms of let's think about the last year or two. I'm curious in your experience, what are some of the things, maybe some of the commonalities, right, of reasons why different localities are gaining, winning these bids, winning these projects, and what are some of the reasons for why maybe a bigger company might not choose that specific locality? What are some of the common reasons for folks to say yes, and also why folks don't say yes?
Well, it's a great question. There's a lot of reasons why Virginia is an attractive business location, a lot of reasons why we are recognized as one of America's top states for business. We have just an outstanding workforce, outstanding education system, both great K through 12 schools like those in Chesterfield County, as well as some amazing universities and other higher education institutions. We're a beautiful state, great quality of life, really good infrastructure, a stable, predictable operating environment. However, we do have some deficiencies. And one of the biggest ones is sites that are suitable for development. So, in many cases in economic development, we talk about the site selection process.
Right.
It would really be more appropriately called the site elimination process.
Good point.
Typically, when you have a manufacturing company or another industrial company, a supply chain company, the first question they ask an economic developer like me is, do you have a site that is suitable for my needs? One of the most common reasons that Virginia gets eliminated from these very exciting advanced manufacturing opportunities today is because we do not have a sufficient inventory of project-ready sites to keep ourselves in the game, to allow ourselves to be a good match for all of those other amazing assets that we have to offer as a business location. So one of the biggest things we're focused on right now is kind of closing that gap, addressing that deficiency, and helping communities around Virginia develop sites that are suitable for attracting these transformative investments that offer hundreds of high-paying quality of jobs in sectors that are growing in today's economy.
Shovel ready. You mentioned, I don't think you used that actual term a minute ago, but I was listening to your presentation to the Board of Supervisors, and one of the things I was struck by was, I don't know if that's a thing that to the normal, everyday citizen, if that's that sounds like, they're ready to build, right? The shovel's ready to go into the ground. But I'm curious, when in your industry, what exactly does that mean, and how does that translate to to a time frame that most residents who might be in an area or folks who are part of a community, how does that translate to what they might feel?
Sure. Well, you're going to hear different words used. You'll hear shovel ready. You'll hear project ready. In some cases, you'll hear certified sites. But what's really important in this context is that a site can be ready to build on within 12 to 18 months of a business choosing that location, and not just ready, but ready with approximately zero risk. So what we're talking about when we say a site is ready, project ready, shovel ready, is we're talking about reducing the risk that you discover something along the way that creates a problem for the development of the project, and you're also trying to compress the timeline. And so what that means is that a site needs to be controlled as a site that's developable for industrial or commercial uses. There needs to be, including zoning, there needs to be due diligence done on the site to understand the physical characteristics of the site, the wetlands delineation, sort of an environmental survey, just really understanding, what is the physical, sort of geophysical character of this site? What kind of condition is it in? A cultural survey, understanding any impact on wildlife and so forth, but also it's important to ensure from an infrastructure standpoint, from a actual just having a piece of dirt that has been prepared in a physical sense, where you've got whether it's natural gas, whether it's roads, whether it's electricity, water and sewer, all of those things need to be in place or close enough to being in place such that the site can be developed within that 12 to 18 month time frame. And so again, what's really important here is that the businesses that are considering locations for these very attractive projects are looking to choose a site that represents very little risk, and that can be developed on very quickly, and that's what we mean by shovel ready or project ready. You,
in the big picture, I know that one of the trends seems to be, at least, that because of supply chain constraints that we've all experienced, and certainly industry has been experiencing on a wide range of levels, that we understand now that maybe it would be better if some of these things were happening more domestically than necessarily offshore. And it certainly feels like to me, as somebody on the outside looking in, that there is a trend of companies looking to bring more of that business back to the United States. And I'm curious, from your point of view, what other trends have you seen? Are there specific industries, specific types of companies who want to look at sites like Chesterfield, places like Virginia, that you've seen trends in? I know Intel had a rather large announcement for a site I believe Chesterfield was in the mix for. But I'm just curious what trends you've seen in terms of bringing those jobs back here, and what kind of companies, what kind of corporations are you seeing the most of?
Yeah, well, I'll talk about a few trends. One trend is the nature of the jobs that these kinds of manufacturing and industrial projects are creating. Many folks have sort of an outdated view of what manufacturing looks like. Today's advanced manufacturing projects are very clean, high-paying, professional jobs, very safe jobs, very innovative jobs, typically offering very attractive salaries plus benefits. So you're talking jobs that are $60,000 plus, often $80,000, $100,000 plus dollar per year jobs plus benefits in a very clean, innovative, professional environment. So that's one of the big trends. Really, just is important to recognize that a lot has changed in the last several decades in terms of the nature of what these projects represent from an employment standpoint. Another big trend is one that you talked about. Many industries considering a new wave of investment in the United States, in part due to the supply chain challenges that were exposed during the pandemic. We're seeing that in a variety of fronts in the greater Richmond area and the greater Petersburg area. With Chesterfield County right in the middle of that,
right.
We're seeing the development of an advanced pharmaceutical manufacturing cluster. Really exciting development there as pharmaceuticals reshore to America. We're also seeing a lot of investment in sort of the health-related supply chain. A great example of this is a project that recently announced on the other side of the state in Wythe County, a project called Blue Star, which is a nitrile gloves manufacturing facility. 25, nearly 2,500 jobs, a very large capital investment in a region of the state that is predominantly rural, so a huge investment there. But also semiconductors.
Yeah.
You look at what's happened to the supply chain in automotive, in electronics. Microchips are used in so many products today, so many consumer products. There's really a reshuffling of the semiconductor supply chain. You mentioned the Intel project. Intel just announced in the Columbus, Ohio region, a $20 billion project that will create thousands of very high-quality professional jobs. These are jobs that are going to pay more than $100,000 per year on average. That's the kind of project that could potentially choose a community like Chesterfield County that has a project-ready site of sufficient scale with the tremendous resources that you have here, the quality of life resources, the transportation resources, and frankly, a community that could absorb a transformational project of that kind.
Last thing for you. Well, actually, real quick, I want to get you mentioned the gloves. So I'm just curious if we can give people sort of an idea or a feel for what these types of advanced manufacturing jobs really produce. Like what kind of thing at the end of the day are they actually making? So your example from Wythe and the gloves, but from pharmaceutical, for example, are we talking just like different supplies that are used in medicine and such? Can you give me a couple of just examples of what these types of advanced manufacturing jobs or what they might actually be producing, like what the thing might be?
It's a wide range of products, but you've touched on a couple of them. In this region, you've got active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturing and right up through the end of the supply chain where pharmaceutical products, basically pharmaceutical drugs, are being produced. A wide range of consumable products. We talked about gloves, but a wide range of plastic related manufacturing. Also, there's a big wave right now of battery related projects, particularly as industries, including automotive, decarbonize. Right. We talked about semiconductors. Yeah. There's just a wide range, and the potential for really a new wave of advanced manufacturing in America as we look to recover from COVID and reshore these supply chains.
Yeah. All right. Last question for you. I'm just curious, what would you feel like localities like Chesterfield or whoever you're working with throughout the Commonwealth, what they can do to basically better position themselves? Some of it is a little bit limited in terms of land, right? You have to have so many different acres, and in hearing your presentation to the board, talking about the limited number of sites that have more than 250 acres available. But beyond, having a site that has that sort of acreage, what other things can localities do to make themselves more attractive to these companies as they start to look at Virginia and specifically at their locations? Well,
obviously there's a lot of things, but I would encourage you to think about it kind of in three buckets. One is you want to get the fundamentals right, and Chesterfield County has certainly done that. You've got your community that has great public schools, really attractive quality of life. You're situated in this vibrant metropolitan region that has some tremendous assets, a significant airport, significant entertainment amenities, a lot of things to do outdoors in a beautiful region of the country. So part of it is just getting the fundamentals right. I would certainly include, sort of a stable, predictable operating environment for business as part of that, a workforce that's capable of making companies successful, helping them grow. But even if you get all of those ingredients right, for many types of projects, for many types of economic development projects, if you do not have a suitable site that is project ready, as we've talked about, it's going to be really highly unlikely for those kinds of projects to locate in a community, even if all of those fundamentals are right, even if it's otherwise a very attractive place. So the work of developing a project ready, high quality site is essential for capturing these opportunities in advanced manufacturing that we've been talking about. The third thing that's important to point out here is really just sort of the service and the interest of the community in being a good partner to a business that wants to grow here. You certainly have that here in Chesterfield County with a terrific local government. We work every day with the local economic development team here, Dr. Casey and his team. So you've got a really great professional team that represents the county very well. But also, you want a business in choosing a location decision really wants to be, embraced. They want to be welcome. And so having sort of a pro-business, welcoming posture is a very significant thing in addition to the great professionalism of this county.
Cool. Well, Jason, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast and talking to us about the work you do and the various trends and things. I appreciate you coming on.
Brad, great to be with you. Love our partnership with Chesterfield County and appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about it.
Absolutely. And thanks again to everybody out there for joining us for this special edition of the podcast. We very much appreciate your time as always. So for all of us here in Chesterfield, thank you very much for making us a part of your day. We'll see you again soon. Take good care.